All right, time for the 11warriors.com web report. Gentlemen, let's see if we can acknowledge this. A 12-1 Big Ten champion makes the college football playoff. True or false?
I say true.
I would agree.
Yeah, I'm with you. So with that being said, 49-20 really doesn't matter too much in the grand scheme of things. Now, we've got a lot of things to fix, and that's what I want to get with you guys on right now. But if we can acknowledge that if Ohio State runs the table, beats a highly ranked Michigan team, and wins the Big Ten over a ranked opponent, ideally, but at this situation, probably Iowa, I think Ohio State is in, and they're in good shape, and they get to play in the playoff, and all of their goals that they want to achieve are still out there for them to be achieved. Now, the question becomes this. If you can only fix one thing about this Ohio State football team, which would it be? Either A, their inability to run the ball and score in the red zone, difficulty scoring in the red zone, or the fact that they're one of the worst teams in the country defensively. You can fix one. We'll start with you, Captain. Which one?
Well, I'm going to have to go with the defense as a former defensive player here. The tough thing there is that if you can just make them middle of the road and giving up explosive plays, their scoring defense was pretty good up until the Purdue game. I think that makes their defense so much better, and that helps up the offense. You're talking about offense getting the ball back with better field position more often. We're talking about less points potentially being scored because teams can't move the ball on them. And it kind of hurts to say that Ohio State struggles so much on defense. We take so much pride in that, especially as a former player. We saw how badly they got exposed, and it wasn't just, I don't think it's a deficiency in terms of the players. I think that our personnel is very good. I think that we got exposed because the scheme wasn't there. I think we got exposed because the fundamentals aren't where they're supposed to be. And so I'd like to see that improvement happen. And I'd like to also acknowledge one more thing is that I think what we would rather have than a 12-1 Big Ten champ is an undefeated Big Ten champ because we know that gets in.
Yeah, we do know that gets in. I do think, though, people will come and say, well, last year we didn't get in and we won the Big Ten. But you had the 2 losses. I think 1 loss. I mean, there's only 3 undefeated teams in the country, and there's going to be more losses. I think 12-1 you're in. But go ahead, Dan. Which do you fix?
Yeah, I got to agree with Josh here. I think you got to go for defense. I mean, you talk about it. I believe in one category in terms of big plays, it was like Kent State and one other team were the only teams that Ohio State was better than. And Ohio State has had huge issues of giving up big plays on defense all year. And I think that's the issue. If they don't fix it, we can talk about can they make the playoffs if they win out, and I think they can. But if they don't fix it, there's a good chance they don't win out, or if they get to the playoff, they get embarrassed if they do. So I think that's the thing they really have to fix. I think the running game's a very real problem, especially in terms of scoring in the red zone. But Dwayne Haskins is going to continue making plays in the passing game. This offense is going to continue to score points because they just have too much talent in terms of throwing the ball. But defensively, they just can't afford to continue giving up this many big plays and giving up as many points as they did on Saturday. I think that's a recipe for disaster in a bigger game down the road if you don't get it fixed.
Let me ask you guys this. Let's put it to you this way. If they do get the defense fixed, and I'm defining fixing the defense of being middle of the road in the country, like not elite. I think that's not happening. But let's say you're middle of the road in the country. Do you think if you get to middle of the road in the country defensively, or you find an ability to score in the red zone, if you just do one of those, do you think they will go 12-1 and win the Big Ten?
I think that getting the defense to be middle of the road probably puts our offense in the red zone more often, just based off of complementary football, how that goes field position. And so I think if you give them more chances to score, they get more work down there. I think that they do become better. It's not to say that all of a sudden, more opportunities, necessarily they're going to convert more. It's just they get better at it.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes. I think they will. If they can figure this out, they will be able to go 12-1 and win the Big Ten, because we've seen it in years before when they've had a loss like this, they've bounced back. And right now, I'd probably put it as a coin flip whether I was going to pick Ohio State or Michigan right now. But I do think the one variable Ohio State has is they do have Dwayne Haskins. I think he's played a lot better than Shea Patterson this year. And I think if that run game can start to make some plays, and if that defense can at least get to middle of the road, I think they're good enough to win the Big Ten. Are they good enough to beat an Alabama or a Clemson? I'm not sure about that. But I think they are good enough to win the Big Ten and win the rest of their games if they can get a little bit better in both of those areas.
All right, gentlemen, good stuff out of you. That was this week's 11warriors.com web report.